I personally do not feel that this problem belongs in the medium difficulty. This is more towards the easy level where you're just understanding to use how to use the two-pointer approach. But for some reason, when you try to look at this particular problem and you sort it with all the number of likes, it is very interesting to see that this problem has been liked by almost 13,000 people. And this is a famous problem too. It has been asked by 17 different companies. And this is the entire list of those companies. So what is so special about this problem? Oh, and by the way, if you are also interested in this entire sheet, all the problems are available, all of the companies are available, and all the problems are sorted based upon the number of likes on LeetCode. So that is how you can know that you are solving actually good problems whenever you're grinding LeetCode. So if you're interested in this sheet, you can find the link in the description below. But for now, let us try to focus on the problem. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. First of all, let us quickly make sure that we are understanding the problem statement correctly. In this problem, you are given an array of integers and these numbers are arranged in a non-decreasing order. It simply means that all of these numbers are in an ascending order, correct? What do you want to do? You want to find two numbers such that they add up to a specific target. According to this problem statement, the test cases are designed in such a way that you will find only one particular solution where two numbers add up to get you to the target. So for example, I have this particular array, 2, 7, 11, 15. You can see that they are in a non-decreasing order and the target is 22. For this particular problem, you will see that you can achieve 22 when you add up 7 and 15. It is a zero-based indexing array, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Ideally, the answer should have been 1, 3. But for this particular statement, you have to give the answer based upon one-based array indexing. So the answer to this particular problem statement is gonna be 2, 4. These are the two positions that I'm referring to. Similarly, if you look at an even bigger test case, how does that look? Notice that all of the numbers are again in a non-decreasing order and the target element is 9. How can you achieve 9? You will be only able to achieve 9 when you add up 4 and 5. And once again, if you do one-based indexing, where do you see 4 and 5? These are at indexes 3 and 4. So for this particular test case, 3, 4 is your answer. That is pretty much it. However, in this particular problem, the test cases are designed in such a way that there will never be a scenario that you cannot add up two numbers to arrive at the target. So you can safely assume that a solution will always exist. So that is pretty much the problem. If you feel that you have now understood it even better, feel free to first try it out. Otherwise, let us dive into the solution. When you start to solve this problem in the most naive way, what can you do? You can start off with these two numbers. The sum does not equal to 9. So what you can do is you can keep one number fixed and try the another number. Then again, you are gonna keep on trying all of these different combinations. So this way you have iterated all of the numbers just by keeping the first number constant. If you find the answer, very good. If not, what will you do? You will try to fix the second number and then again try to find out all of the different combinations. Eventually what will happen is you will land at a combination where the sum of two numbers is 9. So this solution works and it will give you a correct answer every time. But the time complexity is gonna be order of n squared. And that is certainly not what we want. This is where you are gonna start to think about optimizing the solution. And I believe this is the tricky part or the confusing part which can make this problem a little bit famous. As soon as you see a sorted array, the first thought that can come to your mind is, okay, I need to apply the binary search technique. And that is generally true for most of the problems. Because in a binary search, you can achieve order of log and time complexity. So maybe that is what you are targeting. You still, however, want to try, okay, how will binary search actually look like? So here is something you can do. You can fix the first element. Now you have to find another element to add such that the target becomes 9. So what do you want to add? You will want to add a 8 to it, correct? So you can apply binary search on the remaining array. If you can find an 8, very good. Otherwise, this particular element will not give you a solution. So this is the way you can apply binary search at least. Then you can try to fix 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. So you will try to find 6 in this array. And since this array is sorted, you can apply the binary search algorithm very efficiently, correct? The next time you will see 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. So you need to search 5 in this particular array. Ultimately, you will find 5 and that is the answer. But what happened? You were applying binary search for each of these elements. So the time complexity changes from order of log n to actually order of n log n, because you are applying the binary search technique for all of the n elements. So did you get any advantage? Yes, from order of n squared, you have reduced it very much to order of n log n. But even that is not enough. And that is where I feel the tricky part of this problem comes in. This is where you start to think about the two-pointer approach and what is actually happening behind the scene. I would say that this problem is more around the idea of how does a two-pointer approach actually work? How are you advancing the pointers? That is what this problem is trying to test out. You are going to understand in a little while what I exactly mean by that. Once again, I have the same test case. This is my array and this is the target element that I have to reach. So first of all, what I will do is I will take up 2 pointers. This is my left pointer and then I have my right pointer that is at the very end. You have to start somewhere. So what I can do is I can add up both of these elements. 1 plus 11. This is going to give me the value of 12. So what does this 12 mean? First of all, you will try to compare, okay, is 12 equal to my target value? No. So definitely these are not your answers. But where do you advance? Which pointer do you move forward or which pointer do you move backward? This is where the fundamental of a two-pointer approach with a sorted array comes in very, very handy. Think about this particular number 12. You got it by adding the smallest number and by adding the largest number. 12 is greater than the target number, right? So if you add an even bigger number, if you try to add a 3, if you try to move this pointer, then this particular sum will become even bigger. 11 plus 3 will be 14. So you do not want to advance this pointer. What happens if you try to move back this pointer? You are now looking at a smaller number. So what is this telling you? It means that whenever I am adding these two numbers, I will now get something that is smaller than 12. And that is where I want to go. You do not want to increase your sum. You want to decrease it. To decrease it, you need to move your right pointer. So since this 12 was greater than 9, I moved my right pointer. And once again, I'm going to do the same thing. 1 plus 7, and that gives me a 8. So what just happened? This particular sum is now less than my target element. So what do I want to do? I want a bigger sum. If I reduce this value even further, my sum will reduce. But if I go in this direction, my array is sorted. So naturally, the sum will increase. So what should I do? I should move this pointer one step ahead. Now where am I pointing? I am pointing at 3 and 7. Apply the same operation. 3 plus 7 and that gives you a 10. So once again, what happened? This 10 is greater than 9. So it may feel that we are doing a yo-yo between two elements. But we are actually getting very close to a target element. What do you want to do now? You are at 10, you want a smaller sum. So you will move your right pointer one step backward. I move my step back, I get 3 plus 5 and that gives me a 8. What just happened? 8 is again less than my target element. So I need a bigger sum. How do I get the bigger sum? Move the left pointer one step ahead. I do this and what do I get? I get 4 plus 5 and I get a 9. So notice, I have now reached my target element. If you think about it, this method is so efficient. All we need to do is, we need to traverse the entire array only once. Half of the array will be traversed with the left pointer and half of the array will be traversed with the right pointer. And it is not necessary that they will meet in the middle. They can meet anywhere. But the worst case in which both the pointers are traveling can be a maximum of order of n. So that is why the time complexity of this particular solution is order of n. And are you taking any extra space? No. So the space complexity of this solution is order of 1. That is constant space. And I think that this is the primary reason why this problem becomes tricky and why a lot of companies are trying to ask this. It is also a very good telephonic interview question because it is very easy to solve on phone, and it also shows how quick you are able to think. Let us now quickly do a dry run of the code and see how all of it actually works in action. If you try to look at the code, this is pretty much it. And notice what is happening. In the first line over here, I have my function definition where I pass in my complete numbers array and my target element. Now I start to initialize things. Okay, the left pointer is at 0 and the right pointer is at the very end. Now I need to run a while loop. I need to do something, correct? And what do I need to do? I need to run my loop until left is less than right. So until both of my pointers meet, they can meet anywhere, or I just need to find out how I can achieve the sum. So what do I do? First of all, my starting point is, okay, I will add whatever I have at the left and whatever I have at the right. That is what we were doing, correct? Now, all you need to do is, you need to move these pointers based upon the sum that you got. So first of all, you check, okay, did you get the sum equal to the target value? If that is true, yes, you can stop right over here and notice what we are doing. We are returning left plus 1 and right plus 1. This is just because of the problem constraint, correct? If not, what do I do? I check, is my sum less than the target? What does this mean? My sum is lower. I need a bigger value. And how can I do that? I will do a left plus plus. So this loop will run again and it will again try to find out the sum. However, if this sum was greater than the target, it means I need a smaller value. So I will do a right minus minus. And this is gonna move the right pointer one step back and this while loop will run again. Eventually what will happen is this loop will continue to run on for order of n verse time, but according to the problem statement, you will find your target somewhere as the sum. Whenever that happens, you just return whatever the location of your left and right pointers is. And that is your answer. I hope you learned a little bit of something today. And as you might have already seen, this problem is very popular amongst the community. A lot of people like it. And it actually makes a good problem to practice whenever you are brushing up your concepts. But in general, if you have ever felt that you do not know where to begin with, the Smart Interview Grind is a very good application where you can actually decide, okay, how much time is available in the interview and how much time can you give per week. Based upon all of this, you can actually make a personalized study plan. And this study plan will have everything week by week. It will cover a wide variety of topics and it can give you a very good path upon achieving your confidence and targeting your next interview. If you're interested in fast tracking your preparation, I would highly recommend you to check it out. The link is available in the description below. However, while going throughout the problem, did you face any problems? Or do you have any other innovative solution in mind that we want to discuss? Tell me everything in the comment section below and I would love to discuss all of it with you. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This really keeps me motivated and I can make more such videos. Also, a huge shout out to all of the members who support my channel. You guys really keep me going. And as a member, you do get priority reply to your comments and early access to new videos as well. Also remember that now you can schedule a one-to-one session with me and we can discuss about almost anything. We can also create a plan that is specifically catered to you. Just let me know and we can start up a chat. Stay tuned for my upcoming video. Until then, see ya.